Today we will talk about XLM and their involvement with Franklin Templeton involving a tokenized money market fund that is approved and regulated by the SEC. Which is interesting because XLM it was originally an offshoot of XRP, and the SEC was very unhappy with Ripple and XRP. There's a lot of things that I've talked about on that in the past, whether or not that was controlled manipulation to keep the price low, or whether it was a hit piece on XRP because it was competing with ETH and all of the very large government and quasi government types involved with ETH. I don't know if we will ever truly know, but the thing about XLM is that it is just as important as XRP, if not arguably even more so, because they are concentrating on bringing financial services to people, where XRP is concentrating more on financial institutions. But as far as the actual tokenization of this money market fund by Franklin Templeton that runs on XLM, let's just have the experts actually explain that.
Right. So Franklin Templeton got involved in blockchain early on. The first thing we did was decide we wanted to do a tokenized money market fund. And so we built a shareholder servicing system on chain. And then we actually worked with the SEC. So it's an approved, regulated money market fund. And in that process, we saw a couple things. So, as well as a hot cold storage wallet. So it gave us some good insights into how the cost, because we ran 4 of our own transfer agency systems historically, and we were astonished even ourselves to figure out how much less expensive it was to run it on chain. And then 2, we ended up, you had to hold coins because you need to be able to pay for the transaction. So this is a public chain money market system. So
you've got to hold coins, you've got to hold XLM, which means that the value of XLM increases as the value of the assets tokenized on XLM increases.
Transactions are on a public chain. Obviously, the shareholders' information is on our private chain. And so as we then started to hold, we did on the Stellar Network, Lumens, we started to recognize, wow, if you hold these, it's interesting. As a node validator, you're learning a lot of information about what's going on. So today, we actually validate 5 different chains.
I did think that was interesting because she talked about learning a lot of information about what is happening on chain. You can expand that to these kinds of institutions collecting more information on us, which I don't ever think is a good thing. But this technology is not going anywhere, and it's just a matter of time before it is adopted. Now, they are operating on a hybrid chain approach, where it has private information on a private chain and a public information on the actual public chain. And the private chain is allegedly, and it should be, private, but we are still trusting the companies and the institutions who operate those private chains to take care of our information in a responsible way. So here is the press release from April of 2023. Franklin Templeton announces the Franklin OnChain U.S. government money fund surpasses 270 million in assets under management, and it's the first U.S. registered mutual fund to process transactions and record share ownership on the XLM chain. So this is just a press release. I mean, it just explains the same kinds of things in a much more generic way, but it is a regulated 1940 Act fund that invests at least 99.5% of its total assets in government securities, cash, and repurchase agreements, collateralized fully by government securities or cash. The fund's investment goal is to provide investors with as high a level of current income as is consistent with the preservation of shareholders' capital and liquidity, and aims to maintain a $1 share price. And it's just about Franklin Templeton. They have approximately 1.4 trillion in assets under management as of March of 2023, and then the SDF kicked off in 2014, and the original part about XLM is that it was a fork of XRP. Now it is its own thing. It has its own protocol, and it is operating that in a way that is not identical to XRP, but it does look and feel a lot like XRP. About XLM, it is a decentralized, fast, scalable, and uniquely sustainable network for financial products and services. So I do always talk about how XRP and XLM are very closely related. They both go back to the PayPal mafia. You've got Jed McCaleb and Chris Larson, both directly and indirectly involved. You have IBM involved heavily with XLM. In fact, their World Wire platform actually runs on XLM. Okay, I got that out. And with IBM, you always tie back into the Hyper Ledger as well, which then connects to all kinds of things. Casper, HBAR, SHX, and Sean Bennett actually came from Ripple and XLM as well. I talk about SHX more often now, but that is another very important thing that I am interested in more and more. And again, this one's kind of more conspiratorial, but XLM and XRP are very intertwined. Again, I won't really go into too much on this, but yeah, it has a lot there. And of course, XLM, I have done a deep dive on all of this as an overview. I have broken down, I can't say STs well, so Bridge, Light, and Spacewalk. I have explained the tie between XLM, USDC, and the humanitarian aid to Ukraine as well, which looks a lot like the idea behind the distribution of a universal basic income. I have talked a lot about Casper and IBM as well, and then of course Soraban and the smart contracts too. And as far as XRP goes, they're of course again tied back into XLM, and you've got some direct, indirect connections into R3 Corda and XDC. I, for one, think that financial institutions and enterprise can and probably are working to use XRP in the R3 Corda platform, because the code to use XRP in that is publicly available at no cost. So you can't convince me that the institutions that are so directly tied to XRP and to have worked with Ripple for so long are not interested in using XRP in the R3 Corda settler, which is primarily concentrating on things that involve trade finance. But yeah, I expand on that a lot, so I won't hone in on it too much here.